Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we're taking a look today at the latest trade rumors around the NHL. We got a lot to get into. The Seattle Kraken potentially trading their captain. The New York Rangers seem to be in on Filip Forsberg. We'll be taking a look at that, and there's still some stuff going on with the Phil Kessel situation, so we'll kind of keep you updated on that. At the end, we're going to talk about the superstar from the St. Louis Blues. What's the latest on Vladimir Tarasenko? So we'll be getting into all of that in this video. So we're going to start off with up in Seattle. The Seattle Kraken have not had the season they probably were hoping to have in their inaugural season. Not looking like the Vegas Golden Knights right now. It seems like they're going to be one of those teams finishing in the bottom 5, bottom 10 at the end of the NHL season. And there's talk they may already be looking to trade out Mark Giordano, and the captain of the Seattle Kraken. It seems like maybe short-lived for Mark Giordano. There may be some issues with contract extension talks, and it seems like, according to Anthony Sculptor, that there could be a trade here for the Seattle Kraken. The Seattle Kraken defenseman Mark Giordano could be on the trade block soon, and I'm assuming they're going to look around Thanksgiving. And the Kraken are going to say, all right, after our evaluation through the first quarter of the season, we're going to look and see what kind of offers we could maybe get for Giordano. Again, I hate to say it, but kind of giving him the captaincy kind of gives him more value to other teams around the league. It's kind of that perception, like, we could get the captain of the Seattle Kraken. That kind of thing. I hope that's not really what the Kraken were doing, but I think there is a kind of misconnect right now, or a disconnect between Giordano and the direction of the Kraken. And I think he sees, all right, this maybe isn't that magic that I saw. I'm going to stick it out. They drafted me, this and that, but I probably don't want to stay here long term. And maybe he goes back to Western Canada. Maybe he goes to the Edmonton Oilers. There was talk that may have happened, when he was, brought in the expansion draft from the Calgary Flames. That was talked about. There could be a return to Calgary. Maybe he goes to Vancouver. They need defensemen, right? So there's a couple of things that could be on the table there. But that's definitely something I would keep an eye on with Mark Giordano. Where does he end up? Because if he, there could be a storyline there, whether he goes back to the Flames or he goes to one of the rivals there, maybe in Vancouver or in Edmonton. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. So we'll keep you up to date on that, but figured I'd let you see that information there. Nashville Predators, they've actually gotten off to a pretty hot start here, but I don't think that's deterring ownership and management in David Poile, the general manager of the Predators, from maybe looking at some moves. And the New York Rangers look like they could be a playoff team there in that Metropolitan Division. They start to see the Islanders kind of creeping around, the Flyers and the Capitals kind of staying in the hunt, as well as the New Jersey Devils, who actually look really good to start this season. So maybe the Rangers want to add some more firepower, and it seems like they may be looking at a guy in Nashville, in Filip Forsberg, the final year of his contract. Could that be a nice rental for the New York Rangers, a team that's got some pretty good players? Could they, as they kind of look for a trade partner with Vitaly Kravtsov, is that something we could see come to fruition? Maybe Filip Forsberg for Vitaly Kravtsov and a second-round pick or something of that form. Is that enough for the Nashville Predators to say, hey, maybe we make that deal work? That's something to definitely keep an eye on. The Rangers have a lot of prospects that they could make in a deal. Again, they already, they're out on the Jack Eichel sweepstakes. Jack Eichel's gone now. So what is the next move for Chris Drury and the New York Rangers? And I think they could be eyeing up a rental here in a guy like Filip Forsberg and looking at this as a win-now move. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that with the New York Rangers. Now, apparently there was some fallout with the Phil Kessel situation. He was potentially going to the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, since the Golden Knights have gotten Jack Eichel, it's kind of changed that landscape. Phil Kessel had interest in going to Vegas, but they can't afford him at this point. And I think that was part of the reason why the Coyotes wanted to get in on a three-way trade with the Golden Knights, the Buffalo Sabres, in a potential three-way deal where they take, Phil Kessel could go to Vegas as well, but there would be some salary going to the Arizona Coyotes, which to keep them above the cap floor, they could have made that work. That could still be in the cards. I wouldn't be surprised if that does come up at some point. But again, salary-wise, it's going to be difficult for that to work out. But that's definitely something to keep an eye on, as maybe we see something to come to fruition. I think, you could tell Phil Kessel is not too happy in Arizona, and he maybe wants out. So that is something I would definitely keep an eye on, and especially with the start they've had. You could tell, it's been rough for Phil Kessel, a guy that, it's hard to gain trade value when your team's not very good, you're not doing that well, you're not putting up the points. It's definitely a rough spot for him there. Now, in terms of the complete opposite side of that, a guy that was in a much better position in St. Louis, had a very good attitude in training camp, seemed like he was just going to tear it up in the beginning of the season, and anybody that picked him up in fantasy and kind of sniffed that out, you're paying for it right now in the best of ways, because Vlad Tarasenko has had a really hot start to the season, a huge part of the success of the St. Louis Blues to start this season, and some potential destinations right now for Vladimir Tarasenko. He seems to be raising his trade value, and those suitors include the New York teams, the Islanders and the Rangers, and some teams in the Northeast as well, in the Philadelphia Flyers and the Boston Bruins. So those 4 teams, 3 of them in the Metropolitan Division, the other one in the Atlantic and Boston, you could assume there could be a bidding war there between those 4 teams for a guy like Vladimir Tarasenko, and I don't think Doug Armstrong is too upset about that. So we'll have to keep you updated on how things progress with this. But with the start that Tarasenko's had, some teams may be saying, listen, maybe that surgery didn't go so bad. He's playing pretty well right now. I know he had some shoulder issues with the surgeries, the back-to-back surgeries, the first one not really working out. And that disconnect with, Tarasenko and the organization, they may find that divorce in the best of ways here. A very nice split in terms of the Blues getting some nice assets for Tarasenko, and Tarasenko going to a new home, and potentially a good home for a team that really wants his services. So we'll have to see what happens there. I'm really looking at all 4 of those teams are teams that could use Tarasenko. So it's going to be interesting to see who is really desperate to get Tarasenko. And I do look at the Islanders and the Bruins as teams that kind of reek of desperation right now. If you look at the standings, the Rangers and the Flyers are in the playoffs. The Bruins and the Islanders are in a little bit more of a precarious spot right now, so you wonder if those 2 teams would be willing to give up a little bit more. But again, the Rangers, with the Vitaly Kravtsov thing, they have value there. Again, it depends on the value of Kravtsov. What is the perceptive value of Kravtsov, a former top 15 draft pick? What is his value? And what team is going to be willing to give up that first-round pick? I think that's what it comes down to. That who has the best player, which could be Kravtsov, and is also willing to give up that first. That's really what it's going to be coming down to, I think, in a Tarasenko trade. Also, some stuff on the Anaheim Ducks. We know that the Ducks are on a really nice winning streak right now. They also had their general manager resign in Bob Murray, a guy that I really liked, but it seems like there's been some potential toxic work environment stuff going on with Bob Murray. He resigns. So now there's a hole there. So we are hearing a couple of former general managers or management guys in the NHL business in the discussion for that job vacancy. Some of them including Jeff Gorton, the former general manager of the New York Rangers, Mike Fuda, he was with the Minnesota Wild for a while, and Mike Gillis, who we know has had some connections with the Vancouver Canucks, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So those are a couple of candidates to keep an eye on. Again, I don't know how soon they plan on putting in a new general manager. Again, more distraction with how good this team is doing. Do you really want to mess with anything and, create some potential friction? I don't really know. The Ducks are in a weird spot with that right now, the ownership. But that is something that I think they're kind of keeping low key, but they are definitely looking into. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the situation with the Anaheim Ducks and their GM search? Is it a good time to put in a new manager? Is it maybe best to wait a little bit? And what do you think of some of these guys that are available? Guys like Filip Forsberg, Phil Kessel, potentially Vladimir Tarasenko. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. Guys, make sure to check out our Streamlabs shop in the description down below. You can buy some Goal Line Hockey merch here before the holiday season. We've got that all up there on our listing. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys again next time.